I have finally done it. I have found the Dragon Ball Holy Grail. And it is as beautiful as they say.
Know your place, worm. Prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
So I have a huge smile on my face tonight. And it's not just because me and my friends and family are going to Halloween Horror Nights tonight. No, that's not it. Even though that's a little bit it. I know, I had to throw that in there, but I'm super excited. No, the reason I have a huge smile on my face is because Ken Xyro on Twitter dropped a couple tweets that just made me burst with Dragon Ball love, made my nostalgia go over 9,000. And that is a couple of pages from the Dragon Ball 30th anniversary history book. Now you can buy this book for $60 on Amazon. I mean, I can't because I spent my $60 to go to Halloween Horror Nights tonight, but eventually I will because this is the Dragon Ball Holy Grail. Now, as much as I may criticize some things from Dragon Ball Z, from Dragon Ball Super, mainly Super, and especially Heroes, I am a huge Dragon Ball fan, and I feel like everything can come under some criticism. But Dragon Ball was still the thing that I grew up with as a child. I grew up with through my childhood, and now it has become a huge integral part of my adulthood. So it is extremely important to me, and seeing some of these pages from this book really reinforced the idea of how much I love Dragon Ball, and not just Dragon Ball, but the man behind it, Akira Toriyama. We are now inside the mind of Akira Toriyama. And you may be saying to yourself, Blackscape, get to the goddamn point. And I will. We have sketches from Akira Toriyama himself on all the different arcs from Dragon Ball, hand-drawn sketches from the master. Now, this may not mean a lot to you guys, but in the art community, and those who have practiced art, and a lot of us who have done our own Dragon Ball sketches, this is huge because we've really only seen, for the most part, unless you really dig deep, we've only seen the master's artwork in its finalized form through the mangas, through the anime, and that's basically it. Here we have what he was thinking about before he finalized a lot of the designs in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. This is what was running through his mind. And for those of us like myself who have spent a lot of time drawing and trying to draw brand new stories with original characters and have gone through this sketching process, it is a huge nerdgasm to find Akira Toriyama doing the exact same thing. We finally have the artwork so we can look at it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into some of the pages that we have from this book. Here, understandably, we're starting with Dragon Ball because this is the first thing that Akira Toriyama was doing when it came to the Dragon Ball series, and we can just see a couple of these characters. A lot of them look very similar to the ones that we've seen before, and you can tell there's a huge Asian influence in these character designs because, I mean, this is what he was living with. This is his culture. This is Akira Toriyama's world. So you could tell that at first this is exactly what the characters and the anime was going to look like. And we have here Yamcha, we have Chi-Chi, and then we have Krillin right here. So we have a lot of standard character designs that we have seen before and the ones that kind of transition straight into the anime and manga, so nothing too different here. Now this is where it starts getting interesting. We have King Kai up here on the left hand side, but he went through a couple little redesigns here, even one where he kind of looks like a sumo wrestler. So I like the fact that we have the standard King Kai now where he just looks extremely godly, but he could have come out like a sumo wrestler. Let's keep it real. And we have his sidekicks here, and one of them could have been a panda, which would have been cool, but I like Gregory and Bubbles, so let's go ahead and keep those there. when we start going toward the bottom of the page, we see that King Kai's planet went through a couple of redesigns. I mean, here we have it looking like the Tournament of Power stage, which I really do feel like these designs were a major influence in the Tournament of Power arc, in its design. So I like that we see it here. And as we go down, we see Goku meeting King Kai for the first time, and Goku's a little shorter than what I would normally have him at. He looks like he's about Dragon Ball Z's Saiyan Saga Vegeta height. So I like the fact that he got taller, but I think it's cute to see him like in a more chibi-ized version of himself. I like this here. Now, of course, I'm just going through each page, kind of throwing my own small theories at here as to what Akira Toriyama was thinking, plus going through the designs and telling you guys what my thoughts are on them. But I think it's very interesting here that even earlier on, where we don't even have Perfect Cell, he knew Hercule was going to be in this story. Look, he's here on the left hand side. He's right there next to Android 18. Android 18 has a different costume on. I mean, it looks like she's got her winter costume, the one that she steals from that store in the Cell Saga. So we still see that in the anime. And then we see a couple designs here for Cell. Now, this big bulky one here on the bottom, I've seen Dragon Ball artists recreate this design. I've seen this design for Cell before. Or characters that either are related to Cell in some fan manga or some cartoon or whatever. So it's crazy that this is actually something that Akira Toriyama thought of and put down to paper all those years ago. And we even have semi-perfect Cell here. We have regular imperfect Cell, and then we have this character that looks like he's Cell but with a humanoid face. You see this right here? I don't know who this character is. Maybe he thought that Cell didn't need to be a big monster, a big bug monster at some point, so he decided to make him look more humanoid. I don't know, but I think that that's really interesting. And if he would have went that route, I don't think that the Cell Saga would have as much of an impact, because the fact of the matter is that the Cell Saga really thrives on the fact that there's this monster that everyone needs to stop. It was kind of like the first one that we have this huge monster that we need to stop, like a horror movie monster. If you guys don't remember the Imperfect Cell mini arc, he was essentially a horror monster. He was murdering people and sucking them dry of all their fluids and killing them that way. So it had more of that monster feel to it, and if we would have had a humanoid Cell, then that probably would have killed it, I think. So I'm glad that he kept with the original design. I see we have Imperfect Cell here and Semi-Perfect Cell. So we have a couple more designs here of some standard Dragon Ball characters, including Mr. Popo, but the way that these pictures were uploaded and the pages that they were in the book, or it seems that they were in the book, it seems like this piece of art was created around the same time as the Cell arc, but I could be wrong. Once you guys buy the book, it could be in different spots in the book, but I do think if that's the case, it is interesting that we still have the very Akira Toriyama Dragon Ball-esque designs for the Cell Saga. It seems like Piccolo's around the same height as Goku. Goku got a little taller, but all these characters, especially Piccolo, he looks like he's from Dragon Ball. So that could just be an error from the way these pictures were uploaded. This could be before the Cell arc drawings, but I think it's interesting if they're all intermingled in the same sort of era. It seemed like Akira Toriyama really worked his ass off to make Cell a unique and make him interesting. I think I heard something in the ether that Akira Toriyama really didn't like drawing Cell too much more because of all the spots and all the intricate parts that Cell had. Cell was very complicated to draw as opposed to, say, like Majin Buu or Frieza or whatever. So that could be it. But there's a lot of detail putting into Cell. I mean, there's a lot of different panels, a lot of different pieces of artwork of him drawing Cell, or him trying to draw Cell to the best of his abilities. If you can see right here, Cell's looking more like Frieza in this picture, but it looks like he changes that up and goes back to the original Cell designs that we know, Imperfect Cell, Semi-Perfect Cell, and Semi-Perfect Cell. I'm glad that he still has him in here with the Semi-Perfect Cell transformation. And finally, we're going into the Buu arc, and there's a few interesting things to note here. Of course, we see Saiyaman here and different versions of himself. Of course, the bandana with the sunglasses was always in Akira Toriyama's head, but I do like the costume that Saiyaman has in this far more than the one that he had in the anime. He looks very much like maybe one of Frieza's soldiers or somebody that works in the Galactic Patrol. He looks really cool here, and you can see that Majin Buu's here on the other page, and different versions of Majin Buu. Super Buu still very much intact here, and we have Gohan looking more like a teenager. I felt like in the anime and the manga he looked way older than a teenager. And we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku here, and this is interesting. Look, we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku, except in one version he doesn't have the long hair, and in the other version he's got a tail. So that's insane. Akira Toriyama was not only thinking that Super Saiyan 3 would not have long hair but just that furrowed brow, but he also thought, well, if I'm gonna give him the long hair, it'd be cool if he had the tail too. So we could have had Super Saiyan 3 with a tail. And I want to see the Dragon Ball fan community, the art community, recreate the Super Saiyan 3 with a tail. I want to see that piece of art. And finally, this looks like this is the page adjacent to the Super Saiyan 3 page. We have some designs for Majin Buu. Nothing really spectacular here except for the fact that some of the little sketches of Majin Buu have him much shorter. There's one that has him really big and brawny, but the ones that have him much shorter, they look like the ones that you can use in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. So that's basically it with this page. I mean, we have Fat Buu here looking very similar to how he looked like before, and then we have Super Buu looking exactly like he did in the anime. So I don't know what Akira Toriyama's thought process was. Was he going to make these two different characters, or was he really thinking that Fat Buu was going to transform into Super Buu at some point? I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's basically it for the artwork that we see here in Akira Toriyama Sketchpad. If anybody buys this book, send me a PM on Twitter and let me know if there's more artwork that just wasn't shown on Twitter, because I'm extremely interested in Akira Toriyama Sketchpad. Trust me, I am. Anyway, guys, this is going to be Blackscape signing off. Take care, guys.